So great. I think we are about right in terms of timing. So now we now go to the last section, which is more like a group discussion. Yeah, and hi Andy, glad to see you. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yeah, very good presentation.
Yeah.
So so let's see. We want to have some group discussion. I do have a few points, but before we go for a few points, I just want to ask everyone to, yeah, to speak out, right? So, yeah, today we have two sections. You can see a lot of large language model studies. This is very hot, right? Those GPTs and large language models, somehow they can interact with ontology, like how to help each other, right? That's very interesting topic, yeah. And some more like machine learning to do some more like supporting the supporting the mapping, those kind of things. They're also very exciting. And then we have ontology modeling. Kind of before we often talk in research angle, but now we more and more like switching to using ontology, right, to support the EHR data, like OMOP, EHR data, or adverse event data. So they all have some very important translational implications. So those are all good, I think. Just a brief summary. And also today we have wonderful, I think all 8 talks, they are all wonderful. So thank you all for your wonderful talks. Um, okay, so with this brief summary, I would like to open our discussion to everyone.
Okay. I had like one point or at least question that I would like to ask everyone. So I enjoyed all the talks. They were good. But this is something I've been keeping in mind that we've been dealing with large language models. And that from what I've saw, all the work that we've done, we're mostly interested in large language models of English when dealing with English literature. So I suppose the two questions I would want to ask, and I admit when it comes to non-English language that have publications or other research or other reports, um, so stuff like in Spanish or like in Chinese or I assume other countries have their own journals, but I don't know enough to say. Have we reached a point where we can start asking these questions, or if we can trust these large language models and predictions to look at maybe a Chinese article and then report it in English? Or is it like something more limited, like we can do Dutch to English because they're both closely related in terms of structure or language? But can we do something like English to Spanish? Or if we go to English to Turkish or English to Hindi or English to Chinese in terms of linguistic differences when trying to incorporate all this data?
That's good. That's a good point. So I would think definitely I would think the majority of the content, right, in the digital area is still in English, but given time there are more like contents in other languages, right, like Chinese, like Spanish and others. So the GPT actually allow us to somehow exchange the contents between languages. So yeah, definitely a lot of opportunities here. Any other comments? Okay. So so yeah, so that's about the language thing. Yeah. So Doctor, yeah, Miss Rick Gatsmo, Doctor Gatsmo, are you still there available? Yeah, so Ms. Rick is our like NIH program officer. So yeah, so yeah, we may ask her again. So yeah, like to have her speak out and give some comments and remarks. Yeah. Okay. So one question I have is about like again the relation right between large language model and ontology. So I feel like we have several talks. Basically, it's like how LLM support ontology. Like initially, like Zhigang talked about, oh, we can use RAG, right? RAG to support the ontology labeling. And also like Jianfu's talk about using the LLM, like to support the identification of vaccine name. And then we have Hansi's talk, right? So about the vaccine adjuvant, and then like Bangsu's one is more protein interaction. So all those talks, I feel like there is some more like central piece. So how LLM can identify, extract specific contents, right? Of course, in this workshop, we more focus on the drugs or vaccines. So then, and by identifying those, of course, you have a ontology designed. So you can use ontology to more like help out, or you can actually map into ontology directly, or you can use ontology to improve the performance of it. I just feel like a lot of things going on, but definitely we haven't done in a more systematic way. We haven't built up more like some pipeline or framework, how those things, how LLM can eventually really very quickly support the vaccine or maybe other ontologies. So, but it's very promising. I feel like it's just beginning. I'd like to see anyone want to give any comments in this regard. Yeah.
Good.
Well, Oliver, thanks for that, the comment. Yeah, I totally agree. The LLM is, I mean, just like in everywhere else, it's being integrated into this field, and especially with the integration with ontology, we and others all have been trying to integrate these two words together, and I see the LLM has great potential, and particularly with ontology support, I think it's even either better than the kind of previous state of art approach, at least in identifying or mapping those stuff. I mean, I'll talk in these and today have shown that the LLMs the performance in mapping or identifying those entities I mean, it's great. So we already know that ontology integration is going to significantly advance our kind of further uses. Our studies shows that using the hierarchical structure of ontology will definitely help us better understanding what's happening. And now with the LLM, it's going to further enhance the capability. I think we still have to see what's happening, but the short answer to that question is, I think everything is going to be replaced by LLM, or at least LLM-based approach with other, NLP approaches.
Yeah, definitely. Because ontology and LLM actually, they are naturally linked together easily because ontology is more like a vocabulary, right? It's more like people call ontology as a structured vocabulary. So LLM is also dealing with language vocabulary. So how the two things can definitely help each other more, yeah, later. So maybe another thing, maybe we can, so that's the first part, the LLM. Then the second part is about the ontology modeling and the knowledge graph, right? So in terms of ontology modeling, but definitely in the end, we want to make the data, like we call it, AI ready, right? So, okay, ready to use. So I know in large language model, people also discussing about the research. There's also a research domain in large language model. It's like a refinement or alignment, right? So alignment, refinement. I feel like the ontology can support a lot to how to make the data all align together and refined. So the ontology can play a bigger role. But definitely how to make it work still we are thinking. I think Asia gave a talk about the what's called IDMP, right? Ontology. And then we have Alex Norm, we have drug ontology. So those kind of things, right? In nature, at least a high level, they are not aligned. So one question definitely is like, oh, does it matter? So if as long as the bottom level aligned, doesn't matter, we should align them at a high level, right? So that's definitely one question people may ask. So and then one is how to really align them together. So yeah, anyone has any comments? Okay, so another thing I would like to bring up is what Anthony actually what talked about. We didn't have time for asking Anthony questions, right? So so like how to standardize data. So one format is the ISA data framework. So if you are in the field for long, so ISA actually template has been actually quite popular for at least for several years. And I don't know what's the level of ISA use now, but like when it first came out, and a lot of people were excited talking about this one. Also, some tools developed, and then there are other models. They don't care about ISA, like the import data shared model. So actually it's interesting, like Anthony, we were comparing between those kind of formats, right? You can feel like, oh, really they are similar, but there are differences, right? So like so ISA format does not have experiment. Then you would think, oh, they don't have experiment. They have ISA. Is S means does S mean experiment? Study means experiment. So a lot of things going on here and there, and in the end, we feel like oh, may not be exactly. So maybe the study is it's more like a special type of investigation. But anyway, so I think Anthony's talk actually, I feel like it's very interesting to make it more like for biologists to understand, right? Because experiment is more biology term. So so we have experiment in the middle, and then another question is about the data versus ontology model. So people talk about, oh, this is a data model, this is ontology model. So ontology model is more like, when we say ontology modeling, it's more like to identify the entities in reality, right? So we more like thinking about the realism-based ontology. So, okay. So, I see. Hi, yeah, got a message from Mr. Hi, Mr. Yeah, you couldn't hear us well. Maybe we should increase the audio. Can anyone else hear, or there's some
You
issue?
sound clear to me.
Hmm?
You sound clear to me. Okay, no, he can listen. It's just he can't talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If you want to type in chat, we can read it out, or at least respond that way.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Yeah, I'm glad you're there. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So yeah, so basically it's like a data model versus the ontology modeling. So data modeling is more information kind of modeling. Ontology modeling is more for the looking for the realism, more like, okay, you may have some like vaccination versus vaccination to challenge the interval. So that's the time, right? The time. So, and then sometimes you have age or gender, right? So their qualities, time. So basically it's like you look for what's going on with the parameter. But in data modeling, you don't care what's going on there. As long as it's data, you just say this is data, it's information. So data modeling and the realism, ontology modeling, actually, they can help each other. I think that's one thing from Anthony's research. Yeah, we feel like it's somehow interesting. Yeah. Okay. Last point I have is more like future direction or next year, right? Can does anyone have any comments on what's the future? How we should focus on in the domain, or any suggestion on next year's VDOS workshop?
Okay. In addition to hopefully what I presented being at least more developed and I could find some more use cases, one thing, and I also want to bring up with the use of other languages or other ontologies and other work that we do. I know in a very real sense that English is the modern language of science and when it comes to research. But for most of us, there's entire spheres when it comes to potential research that we're either reliant on translations or work being of good enough quality or sufficient quality, but other databases that we can't actually access or effectively translate into when it comes to potential vaccine or health studies, unless the investigators do extra work in translating it to English and then reporting into some English registry or central database. So I really am interested with the application of large language models, just seeing that when we look at other languages outside of English, can we use that to bolster and to basically increase the amount of experts or domain experts outside of the English sphere we could talk to? So I don't know how viable or interested people are. Again, the other issue is I don't know how much research or other articles that are done in other countries, even if it's more like mediocre results, instead of like this huge groundbreaking thing that they would want to put into Science or Nature. But I still think a lot of those smaller scale reports that could pop up and being able to use LLM or improve those models to handle other languages to annotate in English would be both important in terms of general knowledge, but also with expanding the reach of VDOS and with just trying to further integrate all this information together.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for your comment on this one. Okay, now we have only 2 minutes now. That's right. I think we are going to end in 12:20, right? Yeah. Okay, so any last comments?
Yeah, for the future directions, can you also put fair kind of as a consideration? This year, the voice conference was a fair conference, and I think ICBO submissions also assess the fair. So yeah.
Okay, fairness, right? Data fairness. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think next year it will be likely in USA or the North
yes.
America.
The ICBO next year will be in California
Oh, in California. Great,
in September.
great. Yeah. So we are trying to go there in person, right? Yeah.
Yes.
See. Okay.
Road trip.
Oh, in Davis. Okay, California. Yeah. Okay, great. So
Probably
let's
Sylvia.
okay, last minute. Hi, Miss Rick. Can you still thank you, so Miss Rick. Yes, thank you for joining us for the morning. Yeah, we really like it. I see you cannot speak, right? Yeah, you can listen. That's good. You listen. Yeah, it's good. Do you have any comments for us? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so Jianguok, do you have any last minute last comment?
Well, maybe Dr. Gizmo is writing or typing something. In the meantime, I appreciate everyone for participating in VDOS workshop. And I know many of our participants has already signed off because we have participants from all over the place. So the time difference is an issue. But I think overall, the talk was excellent and we had a good discussion. And once we meet in person next year, I guess we can have more in-depth discussion. And thank you
Mhm.
again for participation.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I
I
see
see
like
a question from
Oh, yeah.
Nisra.
can this be used globally or in the US settings only? Yeah, I guess I think if you're talking about the ontology or the technology, yeah, I think so, right? So all the ontologies we are developing or the standard or oh the or the kind of technology integration. Yeah, I think yeah, most of the things we are developing is in USA setting, but we do have a few talks from other countries. Yeah, I think definitely it's global, right? Global implication, global, global one, yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay, so yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
That's it. I'm going to stop
That's probably
recording.
it, right? Yeah, we have, I think that we record everything. So usually we will kind of split based on talks, right? So each talk will be a small video. So later on we will put it into YouTube, right? So I think usually we talk about this, all the authors have no problem. But if you do have an issue, you think you don't want to be put your video into YouTube, yeah, please let us know earlier. So we will follow your willingness, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
we will reach out. I think we already got the permission, but we will reach out and again for posting the recorded video to YouTube to each presenter. Yeah, that's gonna happen probably sometime this week.
Oh, great. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so with all this, yeah, great. I think it's a very good talk. It's a very good meeting today. Thank you all, yeah, for presenting and attending. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.